We're just waiting for everything to go live. So.
Coffee!
I'm making it now. Come and get it. You want coffee? You want coffee? Anybody wants coffee? I'm making the coffee. What do you want? You want coffee? Yeah, I got it all right here. Yeah, I got the K-cups that you wanted. Look, I got the Dunkin' Donuts K-cups. I got the K-cups.
I love that guy. I would want to hang out with him. He's my kind of dude. Coffee! I got the coffee here.
And he likes Dunkin'. So.
Yeah, I got the Dunkin' Donuts K-cups. You look like you could use some D-cups.
We're live. We are live.
That guy's the best. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I don't got the coffee.
You don't. He is not good without coffee.
Does this happen to anybody else? If you're a coffee drinker, maybe I just have a sensitive stomach, which I don't generally. But like just the last week, I just haven't been really craving the coffee, and my stomach's been a little bit off, so I've just laid off. Anytime my stomach is off, it's a good idea to lay off of the coffee. So I've been drinking tea with a little bit of honey from our buddy Eric over at Garden Fork.
Garden Fork? Yeah,
he
has a YouTube channel. Check him out.
Yeah, gardenfork.tv is where you can go. He's kind of like a all-around DIYer. The show that he does is about the stuff he does at his home, about cooking.
He was the original homesteader.
Yeah, it's like homesteading stuff,
He
right?
started when we did back in 2006.
Yeah, this is a guy who was definitely in it when we were in it, and very early on, and is still kicking today and making some great content and some great honey.
Yeah, and he does he sent us maple syrup one year.
Oh, that was so good.
I was honestly, if you're watching, I was hoping that's what it was.
She was a little disappointed because she doesn't really
maple syrup.
other than like the
God,
Mexican sopapilla dessert. Like Nicole doesn't touch honey.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying the honey, Eric. So thank you so much.
He has like cooking segments. He does everything. Beekeeping.
It's all over the place. Yeah, beekeeping.
I just love
fixing things. He's even done a couple little woodworking projects. He did that plywood boat. We even featured it on the website.
We should probably introduce ourselves.
Oh yeah, we just kind of.
This is the pre-show.
I got coffee.
Coffee.
So this is Friday Live. I'm Mark.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are going to talk about woodworking and answer some questions
today.
Today.
Before we talk about woodworking, a very important question just came through in the chat.
Shnikes.
And I will be collecting questions from the chat, as well as we're going to be answering questions from the Patreon. Benny Woodwork says, play Fallout 76, yes? I'm wearing my jacket.
I'm actually drinking out of the Vault 111
I
mug.
am totally playing Fallout 76. It's getting bad reviews, which I don't understand because
it's okay. You could still like it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was gonna go into PvP, and my heart was like go boom, 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 boom.
It's exciting, especially when you don't expect it.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It is not a traditional Fallout game, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So
all
what
right,
do you
what
want to
else?
do? I guess we should talk about. We don't have anything. I don't think I haven't checked the mailbox either. So
no, I don't think we have anything to show off. We just got questions.
Questions. You're going to show off that ginormous bunk bed.
Yeah, I got to do something with a router table later, so maybe we'll just pan the camera up a little bit. You guys can see it. I can't go over there because I'm tethered like a little animal over here. What about Red Dead? We got to get off the video games. Red Dead Redemption is my life every night. After I put my son down, I sit down on the couch and I might have a little cracker or two and play some Red Dead.
If you want to hear more about video games, you should check out my video game podcast. It's audio only. It's called Ladies of Leet. And we talk about Red Dead Redemption, and We Happy Few on there.
She's not a fan of Red Dead though, so.
I got to get through the first chapter. Yeah. I realize I need to get through the first chapter.
You do, Nicole. It really opens up, baby. Okay. It's pretty awesome.
And no, he has not finished Odyssey.
We should just do a video game podcast together.
You want to do that?
Screw this woodworking stuff. That's what I really want to talk about. So we do have some questions pre-selected from Patreon. That's patreon.com/woodwhisperer. I've got 3 here.
3?
Yeah. From
I like Peter's, by the way.
Peter, Brody, and Stumptown.
Yeah.
All right, so Peter wrote in, he wants to know if you had 3 weeks off from any TW. I wonder why he chose 3 weeks.
Yeah, why?
Why not 2 or 4 or just a month?
Yeah.
3, very specific.
4 is a month.
3, yeah, I know. But the month is the more logical, next step.
It's maybe that's all the time he gets.
He never gets more than 3 weeks. Okay. I don't know. Maybe. Let us know, Peter. It's a very important thing. And so he's basically saying, if you had a break from TWW or the Guild, what would you build and why? Well, I think judging by the beginning of this show, you'd know that I'd probably be sitting on my butt playing video games for 3 weeks and not building anything. But let's put myself into that hypothetical world. I would probably continue doing more shop projects. I think shop projects are just one of those things that revitalizes me in the wood shop.
You really like doing shop projects.
I just enjoy it, and I'll be out there at night. I'll maybe instead of playing video games, some of those times if I'm really into it, organization and getting my workspace just efficient is something that it just tickles my pickle, Nicole. So
good to know.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it. I'd probably finish things
hey,
off in here.
Go in the shop. Go build something.
Yeah. I got coffee. Okay. All right, so Brody wrote in. He says, router lifts, what do you look for in a good one? Which ones have you used and your thoughts on them? Thanks for all you and Nicole do, Brody.
Aww.
Okay, so I've used quite a few in the past. Jessam is a brand that I stuck with for quite some time. And then I just recently switched to Incra. But you may or may not know, the lift sold by Incra is just a rebranded Jessam Master Lift. I think it's a Master Lift 2. So even though I'm using an Incra table, an Incra fence, it's actually just a Jessam system. So Jessam, I think they make some of the best stuff out there. The feature set, the build quality overall, and the Master Lift is really, really good. And there's a lot of competing brands out there. Rockler has their own stuff. I think Woodpeckers has their own. Craig has their own. There's just a lot that you could, look at, and there's a different. I could see why you're confused. Jessam, yeah.
I'm going to put it in the. I created a new category in our Amazon store called Friday Live. So
nice.
I'm going to try to put anything that you talk about into that Friday Live. So
Sweet.
It's the Jessam. What is it?
Master Lift.
Master Lift.
Yeah, it'll autocomplete.
2?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh.
So, again, I just keep going back to that one. So I'll show you the lift that I have, and hopefully that'll give you some information. The feature set it has, those are the features I like. Other ones may have different features, so it's totally worth looking into some of those. But let me go over there and show you real quick.
What is this?
That's the underside. That's that's what you don't see.
Oh.
I'm going to try to get over there.
Okay. To follow up, Peter said that he has 2 weeks off.
2 weeks.
I was actually going to hijack that thread and talk as you and say, I would love to make a shoe rack for Nicole.
Yeah, but that's what I would make.
I know.
Even if I didn't have time off,
I know.
I think what his question relates to more like, if I didn't have the obligation of filming and producing content, what would I be building?
Yeah.
All right, guys, bear with me as I move my camera.
Was it building or just doing?
No, building.
Because you would be just playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, see, and this is where people realize you don't listen to what I say during the show.
Well, I'm reading.
Because that's exactly what
That's
I
what
said.
you said?
Yes. Okay. So this is my, again, it's branded Incra, but it's really a Master Lift, at least the last time I checked. So the things that I look forward to with this guy, adjustments, it's got this wonderful micro adjuster here. You just pop this little handle in, and I could very easily, just one finger, it should be very easy to move, raise that. Geez, this is the Powermatic, or I'm not Powermatic, Porter cable. I think it's a 3518 or 7518.
Porter cable?
Porter cable 7518.
Oh, the router?
The Speedmatic router. It's a big mamma jamma router in there. And it's heavy. But you can see a good lift is not going to be very difficult to raise and lower. So that's, of course, an important feature.
I'm going to Google Porter cable big mamma jamma.
Yeah, big mamma jamma. You'll probably find it. I think it'll come up, 7518. On this side, I've got a lockout. So this way, if you are on a particular setting and you're concerned that maybe vibration or something is going to cause the bit to raise or lower, you could lock out the spindle so it can't move at all and very easily unlock it that way. You want above the table adjustments. This is usually par for the course when it comes to these things. Here, let's see if this looks any better. Boop.
Boop. Oh.
How's that?
Is that better? Yeah.
The light is a little bit of an issue, but we'll deal with it. So you should be able to make above the table adjustments. So if you're changing the bit, you want to make sure that you can actually crank this guy all the way up so you have full access and that you never need to go underneath the table. You can get everything right from the top here. The other thing is your inserts. You're going to find a lot of variation in the material that they use for inserts like these. Let's get this guy down a little bit more. So you'll find metal, plastic. This one happens to be metal with holes in it. All these holes are going to assist with the dust collection. So hold on a second. Can you widen that out just a little bit? It's a pinch and zoom, just widen it. Yeah, there we go. So I've actually come around to really liking these. I used to have plastic inserts, and the plastic inserts were nice because if this guy wasn't sitting perfectly flush, if it's a plastic material, I actually would come across here with an old plane, not a new one, because I was afraid to damage it, but I would actually plane that down so it's dead flush and there's no problems with the way it sits. And that's when it was plastic and it was a twist lock. Well, these, even though they're metal, I actually like these better. And the reason is because, let's not cut yourself here, Spags, because we can actually make a 4-point adjustment with a little Allen wrench and raise and lower the 4 corners, which means I can pretty much always make a slight adjustment to fix any out of level issues with the insert.
So is it the insert that's what you're talking about here?
Yeah.
Just the insert? Because I'm looking at that upside down thing. I'm trying to figure out if it's if there's a table.
Yeah, so that's the problem about looking into something you don't understand.
Yeah, I know. Well, but it's the only thing you have to buy, because somebody's asking how much is it, and I'm seeing $340 or $374.
That sounds about right for the whole lift, and typically the lifts will come with these inserts. But what we're going to do is, you want to look at the different brands, and each brand may have a different insert system. So this is one of the features in the insert is that adjustability that you want to look for. In this case, I like these extra holes, and you can get them, where it's a solid piece here. But I like the holes because I've got good dust collection, and the holes allow all the chips to come down. So between dust collection in my fence and dust collection here, it actually works really well. Let's see. There are other systems out there. I think in particular Woodpeckers has a height adjustment, and it might just be a micro adjustment where it's a dial, and you can actually dial it up and down instead of using a tool like this. There are systems where you have basically a handle, kind of like this guy, that is on the front. Go to a full wide picture. That's the bottom 2 arrows.
This one?
Yep, boom. And it kind of sits at the front of the table, and you can kind of crank it this way. So it's out of the way. So there are definitely other creature comforts to look into, but you just got to decide which of those features are really, really important to you. And most of these companies that make a decent router lift, you're not going to be totally sunk if you get it. They're all pretty good.
William Bixby says, since we're talking about router lifts, he says he has the same router lift, but I've not bought the clean sweep inserts. Do they really make a difference with the dust collection?
Yes. Yeah, because the clean sweep, what he's talking about are what we were just pointing to, is the inserts themselves. You need that airflow, and you need an opportunity for, you got to have a place for the dust to go and the chips, and it's pretty darn effective when you've actually got all that airspace. So
is that like what is the clean sweeps?
It's the metal insert. Yeah, so they make them.
Oh, the little,
it looked like. Yeah, the little metal insert.
I was just trying to reference it, but I can't.
No, I know you're trying to find a product and you don't know what you're looking at. It's okay, Nicole. We understand. Shoot. All right, coming back around. Duck your head. Man, wires. What is it, 2008 again? It's been a while since we had to worry about wires.
I can't find them. I don't know. I found the thing in that, but whatever.
I bought my stuff directly from Incra.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just because there was something weird on the Amazon listings for those things where I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I bought a whole package from Incra.
So they do like bundles at Incra?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question. George Adams says, I just purchased the jewelry box plans. Thanks for the holiday discount.
Hey, thanks for the reminder.
Yes, we have sale every weekend, starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Putting a Guild project on sale this week is that beautiful jewelry box.
Ava's little jewelry box.
Yep.
Ava's little jewelry box.
I love that thing.
Yeah, I think it's $56 or something. Once you take the 30% off, it's a pretty good deal.
And a discount stack, so if you get something else, I think it goes deeper, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
I haven't tried it out.
I just go in the store. What do I know? Yeah, so that's at woodwhispererguild.com. All right, let me get to another question here.
Sure.
This is my last one that I have.
Oh, okay.
Stumptown Woodwork says, hey, happy Friday, y'all. Would a dye, instead of a stain, being the oil-based big box store, probably like Minwax, Would a die penetrate deeper into the wood? I ask because while I would love to get more clients to accept natural color of various woods, there are times when they're okay with brown or dark or like walnut and don't care that it isn't walnut. But any sort of scratch or damage that is significant enough now takes the stain with it and looks like a sore thumb if it was stained dark. Excuse me. Maybe there's no way around this really with stained projects, but I thought I'd ask as I haven't been able to convert everyone to just using the color of the wood yet. So yeah, this is a common issue. Stains, that's kind of par for the course, you know, for the most part. Stains are surface treatments. Now you can get dyes, like you said, dye particle. Well, let's back up a little bit. Stain in general, a lot of people see stain as a specific, like a very technically specific term. I consider stain to be a very generic term. There are stains that use different modes of action to color the wood. So you have dye stains, and then you have pigment stains, and then you have mixes of dyes and pigments. Generally speaking, pigments are going to be the larger particles. These are particles that don't actually dissolve in the liquid. So if you have a can of stain, generic, and you open it up and it's all in solution and there's really nothing to mix, it's mostly dye. If you have stuff settled on the bottom, then it is going to be pigment, all right? So think pigment, think paint, all right? Paint is one of those things where you have those pigment particles that are held in suspension because of very thick material, right? Like a latex paint. But you still need to mix it really well. Things can separate out. So pigment particles don't dissolve, but dye particles do. So once they're in solution, they're not really going to pop out of solution. If you've got a can of like General Finishes dye stain, it's pure dye for the most part, and you don't really even have to mix those. So that's kind of the difference here. Big particles don't absorb real deep. They sit on the surface, and then they can kind of cloud a little bit. So if you have a lot of pigment in there and you have a very thick stain, that's a gel stain. And that's something that just sits on the surface. It brings colors, but it's kind of like a thin paint, you know, in the way that it actually adds color to the wood. Dye, much smaller particles, they're fully dissolved in the solution. You put those on the surface, and those do tend to go a little bit deeper and absorb a little bit deeper and also let the natural grain show through. So those are the two things that are kind of working against each other or warring in the world of dyes and stains. So if you are worried about penetration and possible future scratches, a dye is not a bad idea. What I would probably do is a combo. I would probably hit it with a dye to give it a base color that I want, and then hit it with some kind of a general stain that might have a mix of dye and pigment, or just, you know, a pigment stain. You're still going to have to put the protective layer on top. You can still probably cut right through it with a really bad damage, but I feel like the dye is going to absorb a little bit deeper and give you a little bit more protection. Even if they take off a little bit of like that top layer of pigment, it still might have dye absorbed material below it. Ultimately though, these treatments are skin deep, right? So if the damage is, you know, substantial enough, no matter what you do, you're going to cut right through it into raw wood. So yeah, it might be kind of splitting hairs a little bit, talking about how deep they go, one versus the other. But I do feel like dye should probably wind up absorbing a little bit more. It's a thinner material, it's dissolved, it should go a little bit deeper. That's Mark's theory on it. Well, that was a lot of talking.
Yeah,
huh?
it was. We have a lot of Canadians in the chat today, and I thought I would share a little something that I'm working on.
Canadians, eh?
So one of the things that we do on this show is I put the things that we talk about in our Amazon store. We have a store that we've set up, and it has cool categories, and it just a nice way for you to support the show as well as find exactly what we're talking about. As of yesterday, the only store we had was the US one. So Amazon.com/store/The Wood Whisperer. I now have Amazon.ca/store or shop/The Wood Whisperer now.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's not much there. Because every Amazon store is different. So it's not like
independent thing.
Like if you're Canadian, you can't buy from the US. I guess you could maybe, but there's probably like shipping and all that customs stuff.
Yeah.
So you buy at Amazon.ca if you live in Canada.
It's a distinct website.
Yeah, so I have to manually go through and find these items, and they may not even be in their store. Mm-hmm. I'm also going to do this for the UK. I haven't gotten it set up yet, but it will be Amazon.com or no, Amazon.uk/shop/.
slash the
So I'm
Woodworks
gonna, it'll just be replacing. But
Oh, that's
I've gotten
great.
the Canadian one set up. So
Cool.
there you go, Canadians.
Don't say we never did anything for you, Canada.
So yeah, it's gonna be a slow process to really flesh that out.
Oh, look, John's excited because he's Canadian. He's very excited.
We do have a super chat from a Canadian, Tom
Lesserf?
Lesserf. Bandsaw box looks great.
Oh, thanks.
What size of blade and tooth count did you use? Brand. Sorry for the Canuckskin
Yeah.
dollars. It's fine.
I'll go easy on you, Tom, because you just sent us money. But the stats on the blade are right in the description.
Yeah.
So I can't remember exactly.
Well,
I think it's like a 3/16 blade, 4 tooth per inch. This particular blade was the one, some of the stuff that Snodgrass brought to my shop. So I've been using the Carter stuff, and it's been working out great. Direct link to that is right in the description of
But
the
see,
video.
it goes to the U.S. store. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
So,
But, well, ultimately, I want the guy to find the
I know,
product.
I know.
I don't care so much about the affiliates.
I know.
Nicole, it's not just about money.
I know. I'm not. I'm just saying.
It's about helping people, Nicole.
But see, it would be helpful if it went
Sure.
directly to CA and
Oh,
he could
sure.
he could just click.
Sure, you're so materialistic.
I'm not.
This time of year around Christmas, she's just...
No, I'm not.
She comes home, doing some shopping, doing some damage.
maybe on
Your
that.
credit card is like half melted.
Hey,
What? Sorry.
I want to bring joy to my
To
daughter,
yourself?
to my daughter's eyes when she sees that cute little choo-choo train in the yard.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We also have a super chat from Daniel.
Choo-choo train, what are you talking about? We got a choo-choo train in the yard?
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is something I'm going to have to put
Yeah,
together.
you will.
Okay.
Daniel C., are you going to play WoW Classic when it comes out?
Nope.
No.
That's not our thing. I mean, we like WoW.
Yeah.
But I think we've
still
talked about
have-
having a hard enough time getting back into current WoW.
Yeah.
Going back into the slog that is WoW Classic doesn't sound like a good
See,
time.
I don't really have fond memories of that grind.
Grinding, yeah.
Just to get a mount. You
And
remember?
we even got in
Oh,
late
geez.
compared to
Yes.
what, like,
We came in at
hardcore, true vanilla
yeah.
WoW people.
We
like
came in at Burning
Burning
Cru-
well after Burning Crusades,
Burning
didn't
Crusade,
we?
yeah.
So a lot of changes had already, like, creature comfort
But
stuff
still, you
taken
had.
place.
Still, we walked everywhere
Yeah.
to level 60.
Can't say it's going to happen.
All right. We have a question from William Bixby again. Speaking of shop projects, did you ever do anything with that weird space underneath your lumber storage rack?
No, I cleared it out. The neighbor that gave me some of that flooring material, the flooring is sitting under there. I have a hollow chisel mortiser sitting under there that I don't know where else to put. And it's just kind of become this, like, throwaway area. So, well, you're right. That is something, if Peter Boyes gives me that 3 weeks off that I'm asking for, I might actually be able to build like a scrap bin or something that I could then just kind of pull out and throw all my scrap material, all the shorts in there. But not yet, not yet.
We have Michael Lust just did a super chat, said, can you put the links to the store on the TWW website? Love Instagram and your little one's so cute. It is on the TWW website if you go underneath support, the support tab. So if you go to thewoodwhisperer.com/support, there's a link right there.
We kind of lay it all out for
Yeah.
Amazon, Amazon CA,
There's like a
Amazon
whole-
UK,
Yep.
the Guild, the Wood Whisperer store, like all those things.
Yep.
Are
Boom,
just
boom,
kind of
boom.
all the links are there.
Even our Highland Woodworking and Shop Woodworking affiliate
Rockler
links.
should
And
be on there, too.
Rockler, yeah,
Yep.
all those are there.
all the affiliate stuff.
All of them.
And hey, you know what? We really appreciate that.
We
One thing
do.
that has helped support this business for us, and it's been huge, it's something that kind of you gain steam over time, having done this for so long, is affiliate sales.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you're just starting out, it's actually a very small thing. But over time, you know, we've been doing this for over a decade now, sharing links to Rockler, to Highland, all these little things, and especially Amazon.
Yeah.
You guys making your purchases that you would have made anyway, but using our links is incredibly helpful to us. And it's basically, you know, it's small amounts of money,
There's stuff.
but it's a lot of people making the purchases, and it really, really makes a difference.
So
So that's what's on that support
Yeah.
page.
Stephanie McNeil did 2 super chats, but she didn't drop a
Whoa.
question, but she did. I found her question
They're
in the
McGeary.
chat. I'd love to start building my own things. However, power tools scare me.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice / videos on how to get comfortable and safe with power tools? I'm with you, Stephanie. I'm nervous too.
So here's the thing with power tools. It's developing comfort comes from like experience and use. It also can be helpful to see other people use them. So, you know, for instance, you get a job on a job site. Yeah, it might be a little, you know, nerve-wracking. You see all these people with experience just running through wood. Your first couple times will be a little bit scary, but ultimately you kind of see that, you know, once you get used to it, it's no big deal. So, you know, take it slow. I think information is your friend. If you are armed with information about the safety precautions with a particular tool, understanding what it can do and how to use it safely, that information is going to build confidence, right? So if you know what can go wrong, I even did a video, I should do something like that again, but it's quite a long time ago, back in the Arizona shop, where I talked about mistakes that can happen, how things can go wrong, what not to do at a particular tool. So if you understand where those little spots are where you can truly screw things up and hurt yourself, that's understanding how the tool works. You know, so once you have that knowledge, suddenly everything just becomes a little bit easier, and you can be more comfortable. So if I know at the table saw, for instance, that the big issue with that, aside from cutting off a finger, is kickback, right? So then I understand, I research what is kickback, what happens with kickback, why does it happen, and what are the little things that I can include on my saw, safety devices as well as push sticks, where my body should be, my body position. So the confidence comes from knowing that I'm reducing all the possibilities of something going wrong, and if still something goes wrong, I'm physically in a position where I can't be hurt by it, which means standing out of the path of the blade, right? Not having my hand in such a way that it can be pulled into the work. So yeah, experience is just something you're going to get by picking up the tool, making the cuts. But information is going to make you more confident when you do those first few cuts to understand that you are doing it safely. All right, so just do a lot of research.
Yeah, and
a mentor. If you can find a mentor,
yeah,
that's good.
I will say the new makerspace, My Own Two Hands, they really kind of, I've noticed that they've been really gearing a lot of their stuff to women, which I think is awesome.
It is.
So if you're in the Denver area, check out My Own Two Hands. I'm
Here's
guessing
another,
you're not.
Here's another
but
thing.
There might be something local to you.
I don't know your stature and the size of your hands, but one thing that I've heard stories about and experienced with women is the fact that a lot of power tools are kind of made for dude hands.
Yeah.
Now this is why Cremona has such a problem, right? But they're made for dude hands. So if you are, you know, let's say a smaller framed woman, you may have trouble picking up a big, you know, circular saw and just making cuts. So part of the lack of confidence comes from the fact that these tools might be heavier. So what I might recommend is to, when you're looking at brands, look at that. Look at the physical size. Actually look at the weight of it. Because I think if you can wield it a little bit easier and it's easier on your body, you might develop a little bit more of a comfort level with those tools. Battery-powered tools can sometimes be a little bit, well, I don't want to say that they're going to be lighter. Sometimes they feel like they might be lighter, but it also may be a build quality thing. Yeah. But you don't have the cord to tangle with. So anyway, look at the different brands, look at the sizes and the weights, and that might be something to consider. Also, follow some of the women that are in the maker community on Instagram. Avoid the ones that are just pushing brands, because those are the brands that they have to push. But look at what they're using, because a lot of times they may be gravitating to tools that are easier for a smaller grip or a you know, someone who might not have as much
I thought
arm and wrist
there was a
strength.
Festool screwdriver that I really liked. It was,
well, drills are a big thing.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but it was really light and it just fit.
See something? I forget.
Was one of
I forget what it is.
Yeah.
But either way, you can go with like a 12-volt drill instead of an 18-volt drill. I mean, an 18-volt drill, I don't have one sitting here, but they're huge, and it's actually going to take a lot of weight and put a lot of weight on your wrist. But a 12-volt will work just fine, you know. So why tax yourself? So look at those.
Stephanie,
things.
you are so right. She's like, as long as the tool isn't pink, thank you.
No, I don't get pink tools.
Yeah, don't get pink.
Pink tools are stupid.
Yeah. Let's see, but do check out in your area for a makerspace.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Faux show.
Faux show. Bloxygen Boy, how would you edgeband a curve Curved sit stand desktop. Contact cement?
Huh. If the curve is so significant that you know, I'm using a very thin material that would be hard to clamp, let's say, you know, I guess the difference is if it's a shop-made material, I would probably figure out a way to clamp it and use regular wood glue. If we're talking about something that's just kind of like edge banding, so it's almost a veneer thickness, it gets a little bit tricky to clamp that stuff. So yeah, you're probably looking at contact cement for something along those lines.
I have a Ankish Kapoor joined late for the coffee run.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When
Am I saying his name right? Ankish?
You're asking the wrong
Okay.
person. I would say Ankush Kapoor.
There we go. I hope I said your name right. I'm the worst at pronouncing names.
You are.
Cynthia Shane, every time I hear you talk about coffee, I think about your French press and it makes me cry. Please, for the love of walnut, buy yourself an aeropress.
Look, Cynthia. Hold on. Do you want to say anything about this?
I don't.
What's wrong with my...
The B cup looks like you could use a D cup. I even got the Tim Hortons because we went upstate and you said, I gotta have Tim Hortons. I got the Tim Hortons. Look, put out. I got every kind of freaking cup that you...
Okay. I will look into the aeropress.
Yeah, maybe we could, if you want, you put that on your wish list.
I should put it on my wish list. And then, you know what else I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy some beard glitter and some mason jars to drink out of.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Like a proper millennial.
Okay. Daniel C. has one more question. You can have only one. There can be only one.
Oh, no.
Bandsaw or table saw. Table saw.
Yeah. Slow down there, sister.
I swear we've had
It might not
this.
be that simple.
Oh, right.
Yeah, probably the table saw. Should I answer why?
Sure, yeah.
I think the table saw still to this day is, you know, not only physically the center of my workshop, but I really feel like it does, you know, there isn't a project that doesn't get touched by the table saw at some point. Breaking down stock, making fine cuts, even joinery. The bandsaw, you can do a lot more. There are people who are kind of just don't want a table saw in their lives, so they have converted completely to using the bandsaw for that purpose. I can see how it can be done, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but I would have problems with it. I wouldn't enjoy my time with it as much. But don't take either from me, please. I want them both.
Mark Rayner says, are you a guild member if you buy merch in the store?
Yeah.
No, we have an FAQ. So if you go to the woodwhispererguild.com/FAQ, you'll find all the details on what constitutes a full member, which is
Bottom line,
simply buying
projects.
a project.
Yeah,
Not
project.
the free project, just a project.
Yeah, projects are where it's at. That makes you a member.
Yes.
And also, there's no direct relationship between twwstore.com and the Wood Whisperer
Right.
Guild website.
Right.
They're two different databases, two different experiences. Yes, it's the same company,
Yeah.
but all the stuff that you buy in a store is just material items that you can get.
T-shirts.
You know, T-shirts, books, things like
Aprons.
that. Aprons. Everything on the Guild site is, you know, for the most part, digital.
Are we doing a sale on this weekend?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Let's talk to my mom.
Okay.
Someone's asking about Rubio?
Yes, someone, that being, where'd it go? Oh, Nathan wants to know, have you tested it?
All right, so I'm going to be playing with Rubio monocoat on. Hello, I almost dropped that on my iPad Pro.
Nice.
That would have been a very big, costly mistake. So I've got some Rubio here that I'm going to be playing with on the bunk bed. I haven't really tested it in any official capacity. I've used Rubio a couple times in the past on small things, but this is the first large project I'm going to use it on. I think it's important for people to, you know, when you're looking into these hard wax oil finishes to, and this is not necessarily what he's asking, but most people want to know, if you've tested it, how does it compare to something like Armor Seal? And it's such a night and day difference between those two. They're almost incomparable in a sense. Like what you're looking for out of an Armor Seal finish is not going to be the same thing that you're going to get out of a you know, Rubio monocoat finish. It's a very different category of finishes. So maybe we can get into this a little bit more, especially after I'm armed with a little more information after putting this on the bed.
You should do a guild meeting on that.
I actually did already.
Oh, you did? When did you do a guild meeting?
I did a guild meeting about two or 3 months ago
about
reviewing
it.
hard wax oils.
Gotcha.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, my friends. Some of the hard wax oils like Rubio, Odie's, trying to think who else. Those are kind of the two big dogs in that category
What about
right now.
Osmo?
Osmo, yeah, but Osmo's a different thing. But yes, thank you. Osmo is kind of the third leg of that stool. They're such a different category of finishes that if you are like me, a person who's kind of been raised on the Flexner and Jewett book of finishing, it is almost categorically in a different area. It's very difficult to understand what's happening. It doesn't fit the profile of some of these other finishes we're used to. But ultimately, one thing I could tell you, if you're expecting a film quality finish, something like armor seal, lacquer, shellac, the things we're used to, this is not that, all right? This is a finish that is really meant to kind of embrace the natural look and feel of the wood, provide some protection and be easily renewable, and in some cases, zero VOC, totally non-toxic, right? That's the goal. If you're looking for something that's going to resist the abuse of a young family or spilling coffee all over everything, you have to clean up your spills fairly quickly. I wouldn't want to let them
Our
sit there too long.
daughter is very fond of crayons and markers at the moment.
Those things.
And not do coloring on paper.
And the flip side of this, why someone might do that in that case is because it's so easy to repair. So if you do have a family that's beating the crap out of your furniture, this is a finish that you could spot repair and bring it back up to looking really nice without going through too much trouble. So we'll get into that maybe someday in the future, but it's a different finish. It's a different category.
I brought up guild meeting, everybody's like, when's the next one?
Ah.
I think you should do it. I think you should do it next week when my mom is here and she can help me with the kids.
Yeah, I'll put one on the schedule.
And I can actually
It's
join
overdue.
the guild meeting.
Yeah,
Come on.
you're fine. Nicole, Friday Live is enough.
You
for
know you want me at the guild meeting.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, we'll plan it for next week.
Okay, we'll put one on the
And if you're
schedule.
wondering what is a guild meeting, if you're a guild member, we try every month to do this of sorts. But Mark actually has a topic planned, and
I also like to wear tassels on my nipples
oh, okay.
during those. The guild meetings are a lot more in depth. We take a full topic, kind of like I did with the router table. We'll focus in on something, a small topic, and go in depth on it, and then have some discussion around it. And 90% of the chat is just Peter and David making fart jokes. And half of the time, here's the thing with the guild: these are guys who are there, most like guys and gals, who are there mostly for the recreational factor of it. And a lot of times I'll look, unlike here where we just get question after question after question, I go, all right, so any questions? And I don't even know that they're watching me, right? They're all talking to each other. I get
it's their fun time.
Yeah, it's their night out. And I'm like, well, sorry guys, if I'm intruding, I'll just step out of the way here.
I'll just go.
Okay.
Chris Coulter, can you tell me how I should handle being overbooked? My son and I have lots of orders we can't keep up. I think I have a response. Hire somebody.
Yeah.
If you have so many orders and you don't have enough time, hire somebody. It's about, it sounds like you're a type A. So letting go sometimes is hard.
Don't listen to her. She has no idea what she's talking
After
about.
12 years of editing, he finally got some help editing.
Yeah, Todd is my new best friend.
Yes.
The thing is, you can only improve your process
Yeah.
so much. You can only take so many shortcuts before the quality of the work is suffering. So she's absolutely right. If you get to a point where you want to continue to take those orders, but you can't buy a machine or something that just makes your process more efficient.
Or increasing your prices.
Right.
Maybe your
you can
prices are
increase
too
your prices
low.
a little bit. Yeah, that's one strategy if you don't want to add personnel.
Right.
But it doesn't hurt to start thinking about the possibility of adding even someone part-time who might be able to help with some of the things so that you can focus on other things and get things out the door. Someone actually asked the question that I wanted to answer. What is it? Oh, notices. Funk, I don't know if you're watching, John, but someone just asked, do we have some setup for notifications about guild meetings? So first of all, I will say emails. I always let people know about a guild meeting via, the guild newsletter.
Right.
We also generally will put the notice on the guild site. Well, here's the thing. We have a new guild site coming up, probably roughly in a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm hoping we can get that launched. And one of the things we're going to do is make it a little bit more obvious when the next guild meeting is coming. When you log into your guild page, you'll see that. It'll
I
be a
also
notice.
try to put it in the Facebook group.
Nicole puts it in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So there's usually an event in Facebook. I will send out an email, but I'm going to talk to John and see if there's anything other than that, clever that we can come up with. I know he was mentioning something about iCal integrations.
That's
so you
nice.
might be able to get a calendar thing. So if you subscribe to the calendar, I put the event in there, and boom, it's in your calendar.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. I got the coffee.
I got the calendar.
I got the guild meeting over here. So we'll talk to John about that and see if he can come up with something. But we were just talking about this.
Our friend Bob DeVries says, table saw, center of your workshop. Nicole, center of your heart. Mateo and Ava, center of your world. Life is good. Aw, thanks, Bob.
I might say that Mateo and Ava might be the center of my headaches. Is that okay to say?
Hey, they're very small children.
Thanks, Bob. Hey, Bob, just a heads up. We're recording Woodtalk today. And thank you for your voicemail, but you sounded like you were talking through a tin can. It's really, really hard. I had to crank the volume up. I don't know. It sounded like you recorded it in a bathroom from 15 feet away from his phone. So we're not going to be able to play your voicemail.
That's how you record in the bathroom, right?
Generally, I try to. So
good acoustics.
Just give you a heads up if you don't hear your voicemail on the show.
Josh Perry did a super chat. Ignoring cost, how do you decide between using solid wood and veneer plywood for a project? Thinking of something like a bookcase shelf, would you use plywood even if the costs were equal?
It kind of depends. I mean, there are a lot of cases where, pun intended, where plywood is just the best choice because it doesn't really move, right? So it's going to be the most stable. You could lock it in to a position where solid wood you would have to allow for movement. So when it comes to casework, a lot of times I am going to default to plywood unless there's a very specific reason, like I wanted to do a dovetailed case, something like that. So, for me, a lot of times it comes down to practicality. What is the most practical choice for this? And plywood typically is. See, plywood is going to save you a lot of time. When you think about casework and big projects, anytime you have a panel, well, it's not just a panel, right? It's actually a series of a number of boards that all have to be milled up and planed and jointed and then glued together and then surfaced. That's a couple days worth of work. If it's plywood, it's throwing that sheet down and cutting it up to the right shape and then figuring out edge banding and all that stuff. So it's a huge time savings to go to plywood. Good quality veneered plywood, it's not something to be afraid of. It's good. I think if it's built into a project properly, I don't see any problems with it, and I don't think it cheapens the project at all. In fact, a slightly improperly built thing that kind of disregards wood movement made of solid wood, to me, is much crappier, less valuable than a properly built casework that's made with plywood. So it's something, to me, it's a longevity issue. So my decision matrix is kind of very dependent on the project, but most of the time with casework, you're going to see me go to plywood.
Michael just said, do you have a video on edge banding? We do. If you go to thewoodwhisperer.com, at the top right, there's a little search button, and it has a drop down that you can actually specifically say, just look for videos. It's episode 33. You put this out in 2007 about edge band. You're wearing, it's getting Hoff in here. Shirt.
Oh, my Hoff shirt.
I love that shirt.
I forgot. I use the search all the time to find old videos, and I forgot that little thing is there where you could filter down
so even
your search
you
results.
don't know how to use your website.
Hey, at least I know how to use. At least I use the search.
Yes, I know.
I just don't know how to use that little button.
Yeah,
that is cool though.
I love it
because a lot of times that's all I'm looking for, an old video.
An old video. So you just say video, or you could do a shop tour.
John, we were pretty smart to put that in there, weren't we?
Yeah, it was. I use it all the time. It's a great feature of our website. I
hadn't noticed it. Okay. All right. What else?
We
got to wrap up.
I know. Josh Larson. Good morning, Mark and Nicole. Vice question. Okay, stop that.
Sorry.
If you were to build another workshop and could afford only one, what's with the one? You got to pick
all these
one.
Scenarios.
If
you only have 3 weeks. You can only pick one.
One vise. Which one would you install?
On my workbench?
Yeah, workbench.
I use the leg vise the most. I would miss the shoulder vise because there are times where being able to pinch something between 2 dogs and lay a board flat is important to me. But I think just in general usage, because of the sort of hybrid style work that I do, I'm not doing as much flat work, right? I'm not planing my boards as a full Neanderthal might. But I am doing a lot more edge work with my planes. So I do wind up using the leg vise more often. The leg vise I find also a lot more helpful for power tool functions too. But I would say I'm probably, when I say I use that the most, it's not a dramatic amount. I would say maybe like 60-40. So 60 on the leg, 40 on the tail vise. So if I had to give one up, I would give up the one that I don't use as much.
I'm going to do some quick fire questions. So, meaning short answers.
Oh, well,
all right.
Come to the wrong person, Nicole.
Cosmo237. I was a big fan of David Marks. Do you hear from him?
Periodically.
Yeah. He's around. He's doing classes.
Short answer. You're making the answer longer.
Well, keep it under like a minute.
Under an hour?
Under a minute. Okay?
David's still around. David's still doing classes in the shop.
Yep, djmarks.com.
djmarks.com, and we actually hope to convince him to do a guild project with us.
Come on, David.
This year.
That'd be awesome. Albert Adams. Mark, what fine woodworking do you use that hatchet for? You have a hatchet.
Yeah,
somewhere. Oh, over there.
The only reason I have this, aside from the fact that it just looks cool.
Yeah. I could use that in Fallout 76.
Yes, you could. And while it's mostly for the zombie apocalypse, I would use this for riving. So if I'm making, the most common thing for me is going to be making dowels and using that dowel plate, that little Lee-Nielsen dowel plate. It's good to rive the material out so it splits naturally along the grain. And that's about it. It's a really, this was a splurge for me.
Yeah.
This was not a necessity. I wanted one.
Okay.
So.
Stephen Tibbetts, would the Rubio product be a candidate for turning or more of a flat work finish?
I think it could be used for anything.
Yeah.
The stuff, it's a hard wax oil.
Yep.
Once it gets into the surface, this is the sales pitch, right? It bonds molecularly with the wood fibers, with the cellulose, Nicole. And once it hits the surface, it's pretty much dry to the touch. It takes about a week to fully cure because it is an oil. But I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to. The trouble with the Rubio, though, is you are looking at a two-part finish. So I bought a set of large syringes so that I can actually accurately take out small amounts of this stuff, because a little bit goes a long way. So I'm not going to say this is the best candidate for a turning, but there's no reason you couldn't use it for a turning.
Alex Kilpatrick, besides a boat, Mark, is there a project you personally would like to build but are hesitant to attempt, and why? No.
Well, what's the boat have to do with anything?
I don't know.
I don't want to build a boat.
Well, he's probably heard you say that.
I always say that I can't build a boat because I live in Arizona.
Oh.
But it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Now I have to come up with another excuse.
You can say, I don't want to build a boat.
I'd like to buy a boat, though.
Okay.
I want like a big boat.
Okay.
And we'll call it Suck My Wake.
Jet boat!
I don't know. The thing is, once I used to have this bucket list of projects, right? And once I accomplished the things on that list, then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll build some cabinets. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'd have to give that some thought.
Yeah. Derek A, I just watched a video where someone cut a groove using a biscuit joiner. I never thought of doing that and wondered if there were any concerns to doing that.
Not at all. Okay. If you can keep it steady and you can cut nice and straight, everything's locked in on your fence, you could just make repeated plunges and essentially make a long groove.
Well, there you go. Ryan Elliott, I'm moving and getting a 2-car garage space that I'm turning into a shop.
Cool.
It is not a garage.
Nope.
Any thoughts in terms of basic layout and electric that you think are a must or a learning point from your move?
I'm going to tell you to go to the Wood Whisperer website.
Yep.
Go into the video area. Let's see. Go to the Wood Whisperer, click on Wood Shop.
Oh, at the top?
At the top, the very top, big letters, click on Wood Shop. On the left, click on Mark's Shop. That is where you will find every video I've done regarding shop projects, my shop layout, my shop moves, even the actual design and building of the big Arizona shop. Well, people are saying that 2019 is the year that I'm due again to move. So
we're not moving anywhere.
We're not moving. But more than I can answer right here, you'll find all that stuff there in that category.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. Garage, small garage, big garage. Master planned space.
Yep. 2-car attached garage.
Yep. I think I have a super chat. Yes, Chad Healy. Vault 111 all over the place.
Yeah, we both got it.
Yeah, we both have it.
That's right.
Yay, Fallout.
It's no Red Dead.
Shut up.
All right, what else we got? Should we finish up?
Just making sure I
We
don't
got to
have...
thank Brian,
yes.
by the way.
Oh yeah,
for,
you got some...
Yeah, so Brian, he doesn't have his last name's in his email, but I'm going to just say Brian. Maybe
Brian.
he doesn't want his last name. Thanks for your support, Brian, on Patreon. If you want to help out the show, patreon.com/woodwhispers, where you can go to do that. We have a bunch of different levels that you could sign up for. Get a couple cool things in return, shirts, stickers, higher levels like a book, right?
A collectable coin.
Collectible coins. I'll even sign some scrap wood
Yep.
for you.
Yeah.
I'll dangle my nipple tassels over it
Stop it.
and send it to you.
I thought I had a question in here that I was holding on to, but it doesn't look like I do. But that's okay. But
Okay.
I do have a super chat from another super chat from Bob.
Bob.
I could use a tutorial on the different types of vises sometime.
That's a tough.
And somebody
a
said
tough
they
one
wanted
for
to
me
see
to
your
do.
leg vise.
Ooh,
They wanted
hey.
to see your leg vise.
That's a tough one to do, Bob, because I have to have those vices, you
Yeah.
know?
Does
Look,
Does
I'm going to...
Cremona have different vices than you?
No, he just copied my workbench.
He doesn't like.
He just likes to copy.
Yeah.
You know, because I copied other
Get
people.
it? Vices.
I copied bench
Other
crafting.
vices.
He has plenty of vices. So, you know, one of the things I wanted to do, actually,
Yes.
in the future, is build another workbench.
That's right.
And I don't want to build it for me, because I'm very happy with my split top Rubio, but I wanted to build a lower cost, more budget friendly, but still very big, solid bench, but using hardware, primarily using hardware that is easier to get, cheaper, more accessible, all that stuff. So, but I agree, Bob, it would be nice, because there's a lot, when you get into workbench vices, there's a lot of variations,
How many are there? I mean,
a lot. I mean, you got your
like more than
your
10?
tail. Well, the thing is, though, there's different types, and there's also different brands that have slightly different elements to them. So you got like the Veritas twin screw vise.
Yeah.
Then you got the bench crafted tail vise. Then you have a
Pony.
traditional shoulder vise.
I know Pony contacted us and something about they have a vise too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Pony tools.
Pony
okay.
tools. Yep.
Lots of vices. I get the need for it, but I'd have to have those in my possession.
Bob says, "Don't you know any other woodworkers?"
No.
We have a whole group of people that we could probably
Yeah.
in the
But
area.
we'd have to go to each of their shops
Yeah.
to look at their vices.
That's true.
We'll call it the Vice Tour
Vice
of
tour.
2019.
That's actually a good idea for a video.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. It means you have to leave and go
I'd have
somewhere.
to go. I have to leave home.
Yes. Oh my
Crazy.
goodness.
I don't want to leave home.
The horror.
Oops. Sorry, focused in on Nicole again. I do that sometimes.
You do.
Okay. Do we need anything else?
Yeah,
We good?
I have one more super chat.
Holy smokes.
They keep doing the super chats,
You
and,
guys-
and I have to go pick up
You keep
Ava.
pulling us in. I got to record Woodtalk.
Kevin Howell, I need to protect a shoe rack. It has been treated with iron sulfate, similar to iron
Acetate.
acetate. What do I use to protect it from water, not glossy?
A matte
Those-
finish?
What about those pads?
Sure. I think he's thinking more about a finish though.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go for something that was very, water resistant, you can go with a marine finish. Things like Epiphanes, you probably, if you've seen some of my outdoor finish videos, Epiphanes is a product that I use. Total Boat makes some good stuff. They actually sent me a bunch of stuff recently to test out. I finished my entire miter bench, the whole miter station with an not Epiphanes, Total Boat marine finish, just because I wanted to test it out. I didn't have an outdoor project, but I wanted to put it on something so that I could just get some experience with it. And they sell a matte product. So you actually can put a very protective finish on there that will be, a matte finish. You don't have to go to that extent though. I mean, it's a shoe rack, so I'm guessing he's talking water from like ice and snow on it. Probably not a bad idea to go with a marine
You're going to
varnish.
need to address that in the hall closet thingy that you're going to build
Yeah.
in the guild for me.
Yeah, well, the bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so if you have a compartment, specialized place for these things, you can use different finishes on the same project. So if there's like, I'm talking about the hall tree thing, or you're talking about the hall tree, there's a whole thing that won't be exposed to any
Right.
moisture, but there might be a little spot on the bottom for the boots and the shoes. That would be something that I would probably put a different finish down there. See, because marine varnishes, they're usually very thick. It's a pretty heavy looking finish, even if it's matte. So you may not want that on the entire project. You may just want that on the trouble areas. So that might be, something to consider too if you're concerned about the look.
You don't stream Woodtalk anymore.
We're trying to. This is the last recording for the year
Okay.
of Woodtalk. We have converted to a new way of recording the last two shows. Anyone who listens to the show, you might have noticed that the recording quality has gone up because we made a few changes. one of those changes might allow us to do a Google Hangout.
Oh.
But the trick with Google Hangout is I'm not sure that we are going to hear each other as well as we do in a Skype call in terms of like lag and delay and stuff. So I don't know. So we might try it. Maybe I'll try it today. I got to get in there and see if I can make everything work.
Gotcha. And then Joseph.
Oh, Joseph. No, Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph, for the super chat. Extra
Thanks,
super chat to make Matt and Shannon wait on you a little longer. How's the book coming along?
Actually, Joseph, the book is coming along great. We are at the point where I need to make pretty much my final pass on a few things, and they're waiting on me right now. So I'm trying to get this bunk bed done so that I could jump back to the book. It's probably going to take me about a week to work through some details, send that back to the publisher, and I'm waiting to hear back when we need to start our pre-order campaign. They seem to indicate that I might need to do it before the end of the year, which is not ideal for me. I really wanted to wait till early 2019 to launch this pre-order campaign, but I don't know for sure. So thanks for asking.
One last question, Matt YYC. Are there going to be any other Jory Brigham projects in the guild, or is the Hank the first one? I pre-ordered it. I'm super pumped for it to come out. We only have the Hank. That's his first one.
Yeah, that's his first and only at this point. As is always the case with guest instructors, we will kind of evaluate how the project does.
And how they like it.
How they like it, if they feel it's worth their time to do it, and bring them back if that's the case. I don't, Jory's fantastic, and I can't wait to have, I can't wait to just be in his shop and experience it.
When are you going out there?
I'm going out there in January.
January.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's right around the corner.
So I cannot wait to have that experience and share that experience with you guys. But if all parties are happy, then we will continue to do more in the future.
Cool. All right, I got to go pick up Ava.
Let's pinch it off, Nicole.
Pinch it off.
Like you enjoy saying. And I'm going to have like my 6th cup of tea because it's just feeling inadequate for me. I need the coffee.
Coffee. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Bye.
This cactus-like plant is 10,000 times hotter than the hottest pepper.
What?
That's a news flash that just came up on my
good.
iPad.
Good to know.
Yeah, good to know. All right, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Oh shoot.